Hey, what is going on? I'm LaPrentiss Demond, and I help health-conscious consumers get rid of toxic products from their life so they can achieve true wellness. In today's video, we have a battle of the waters. We have distilled water versus purified water. We're going to see which one is better, and we're going to test them for 3 specific things. All right? Now, I'm not even going to do anything to skip it, so we're just going to jump right into it. And first thing we're going to do is pour these waters. Now, both of these, of course, they're sold by the gallon for a very good reason, which I'll share with you later. But we have distilled water, and then we have purified drinking water. It says purified drinking water, both made by the same company, but the process is done just about the same regardless of where you get it from, right? Now, the first thing we're going to test for is antioxidants, and that's because our body needs those antioxidants, right? So when we consume those, it actually helps us push toxins out of our body. It actually reduces oxidation and inflammation. Those two things are linked to every single health disease known to man, and those come in from free radicals, like all that stuff that's around us, okay? So the air that we breathe, our cell phones, our electronics, the pollution, the acidic foods that we eat, that stuff comes in and creates oxidation and inflammation in our body, and we need antioxidant foods to get rid of them. So we're going to check that out in this, right? So we're going to use an ORP meter to see if our water is oxidizing us, making us feel sicker, it's going to lead to more sickness, or if it is antioxidant and it is actually pushing out those toxins, reducing that inflammation, bringing down the oxidation, and essentially being that fountain of youth, right? So let's start off with distilled water. See what we get. And as you can see, we are getting a 200 on distilled water, okay? That shows that it's oxidizing us and actually creating more sickness. Let's look at the purified drinking water. It should be better, right? Because it says drinking water and it says it's purified. However, it is actually showing 222, showing a little bit worse than the distilled water. So both of these are oxidizing, and neither one are good for improving our health. They're actually good for oxidizing us and making us worse, right? Let's take a look at the second test. Our second test is on alkalinity. And this is important because if we're consuming these waters, we want to ensure that our body stays as alkaline as possible in a slightly alkaline environment, okay? Not overly alkaline, that's not good for us either, but in a slightly alkaline environment. And our water can help us do that. It can bring balance when we're taking in alcohol, tobacco, cigarettes, sweeteners, all those things that bring acidity. When we bring in that acidity, that eats the electrolytes and minerals in our body, okay? If we're eating foods to balance out that are alkaline, it'll consume those things. But if we aren't, if we're constantly eating bad, if we're constantly drinking and smoking and all those things, that alkalinity is going to start being taken from us. It's going to start taken from our bones, our joints, our ligaments, our skin. Our skin's going to be dry and itchy and cracking, and we're wondering why. It's because of all the acidic stuff. So our water should be slightly alkaline. What we're going to do is we're going to use these pH drops. We're going to put a few in each. And if we see a red, or orange, or a yellow, that means it's acidic. It's seeing electrolytes and minerals in our body. However, if we see a purple or a blue, all those are alkaline. So let's see what we get here. Alright, so both of these are showing acidic. Crazy. But is it really? Let's think about this for a minute. Distilled water. How is distilled water made? Distilled water is made by putting the water in a container and we're heating it up to where it becomes a steam. And as it becomes a steam, it brings up the water, right? Because the water turns into a steam and it gets dripped over to another container, right? Everything that's leaving behind though, of course, it's getting rid of all the bacteria and all of the sickness and all the nasty stuff, but it's also leaving behind the minerals, right? So that makes it very acidic. And water is a scavenger in that sense, that it's looking for something to take when we do that. So that's how this is made. This just shows why it's acidic. purified drinking water, which, by the way, don't let the word drinking fool you. It's not meant for drinking at all. But purified can be done in a variety of ways. It can be done through reverse osmosis, where we are taking the water and putting it through extremely small membranes. It can also be done through filtration. It can also be done as distilled. Either way, the same thing is happening. We are removing everything out of the water, including the good stuff, which is the minerals that we're supposed to have, and we're putting it in a bottle. So that's why this is also showing acidic. All right, so they're essentially both the same waters. One just has a different name, and done in a different specific process, generic process. This can be done in a mix of ways. All right, so that is the second test on alkalinity, and as you see, they're both oxidizing us. This one's a little bit darker, but they're both are eating electrolytes in our body, and so it's not safe for us to be drinking. But let's go ahead and take a look at that third test. So superior hydration is the main thing that we're doing here. And the main reason why is because our water should be able to hydrate us on a cellular level. All right, so go ahead, and what we're going to do that test is we are going to make tea. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the tea bag here, and we're going to see if we can make tea out of distilled water. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, LaPrentiss, there is no way that this is possible. And you're probably what, right? But let's go ahead and try it anyhow. So we got distilled water. Look at that. As you see, we're not able to make tea. Right? So let's go ahead and try it now with our purified drinking water. This one is looking a little darker, like it's able to make a little bit, but it's barely doing it, right? Let me go back over here. We may be able to get something going over here, right? Just a little bit. But ultimately, it's not really doing it the way that we want, right? So our body, it's able to do maybe about 10%, and we want to get hydrated like fully, right? We don't want to get 10% hydrated, right? We want to get hydrated fully. So if we use the right water, then we get hydrated much better than distilled and our purified drinking waters, okay? So ultimately, we tested these two for three distinct things, all right? The first one is antioxidants, so we saw that they're both oxidizing. The second thing we tested for was alkalinity. We saw that they both consumed our electrolytes and our minerals that's in our body, okay? Because they're both acidic, okay? And third, we test them for superior hydration. They don't really hydrate us that well. And the reason why is because these are not meant for human consumption, all right? These are meant for electronic devices, okay? So what they do is if we consume these, they're actually going to leach the minerals out of us, and then we're going to evacuate them when we go to the bathroom, okay? So keep that in mind. Highly recommend not drinking either of these for consumption. Even though that says drinking water, don't let that fool you, right? There's a reason why they give it to you by the gallon, all right? So what are they for? They're for your irons, right? If you're going to use an iron, and that's because all the minerals are removed, and it allows you to iron without getting calcium on your clothes, okay? It's meant for diffusers. If you're using diffuser, the oil diffusers, and that, once again, that's great so you don't clog up the diffuser with minerals and then have to scrape them out or possibly damage the machine. This is meant for radiators in your car. And once again, that's so it can provide the coolant that you need without clogging up the insides of your radiator. That's the type of stuff this water is meant for. It's not meant for human consumption. So I highly recommend not drinking it for that. And if you're curious on what you should drink, if you value your health to where you want to drink the best for your health, highly recommend getting in touch with me. You can reach me at LaPrentissSamson.com, where I have more tips and tricks on improving your wellness. And then if you want to see videos that are too hot for YouTube, you want to check me out on Facebook. So down in the description below, I have my Facebook page. Go ahead, click there, like, and I post there regularly on different videos that will not only inspire you, but help improve your wellness. So out of these three that we tested, we tested for three things. We saw that when it came to antioxidants, that they're both oxidizing. We saw that they're both acidic when we did the alkalinity test. And we saw that they're both weak when it came to superior hydration. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, if you change your water, you can change your world. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.